Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator, today with more Pillar Loves Tabletop games. Today bring you Cascadia. Goal is to build habitats and fill with wildlife for points. As part of the setup for the game, each player will have a random starting tile. There will be 4 options of wildlife and habitat tile. At the start, after developing these starting tiles, there's like 85 of these habitats, and you'll use a number equal to 20 times the number of players plus 3. That way, each player will have 20 turns to build up. Also, a random card from each of the 5 animal types will be used to determine points. So we have grizzly bear, Roosevelt elk, red fox, red-tailed hawk, and Chinook salmon. By following certain patterns, they'll be worth a number of points. So starting with the first player, they must choose to take one set of tile and wildlife. They place the tile first. You don't have to match the habitats, but you get certain points at the end based on that. And then after placing the tile, they can place the wildlife wherever it's legal for them to do so. So there's a fox here. They'd have to place it there. If you are ever in a situation where the wildlife you draw cannot go onto a habitat you have open, you just discard the wildlife. Yeah, there's a limit of 1 wildlife per tile. Even if it shows multiples, you only put 1 there. And again, you want to be keeping this in mind as you're doing so. After taking a turn, replace the chosen items. If there's ever 3 wildlife of the same type, the player has the option to clear them and draw 3 new ones. If there's ever 4 of the same type, you must replace them. One of the other things that can happen is you may have the matching wildlife for a keystone habitat. When you place it, you'll notice it because of the pine cone and the triangle. But when you place it, you'll draw a nature token. And what nature tokens allow you to do is you have the option to either completely wipe out some of the wildlife before and refill before making your choice, or you can take 2 that are on completely different options. Any nature tokens you don't spend at the end of the game are worth points. But at some point, it'll get to a moment where there are no tiles left to refill a chosen option, and that's the end of the game. What you will score is every instance that can be scored for your wildlife on your habitats. You will then look at your biggest contiguous group of a habitat type: mountains, forests, wetlands, plains, rivers. And for the biggest group you have of that type, you'll score that many points first. Secondly, the player who had the biggest of that type for a given type will get a majority bonus. And then finally, you'll score 1 point for each of your remaining nature tokens. And then the highest points wins. If there's a tie, I believe it goes off of nature tokens. But that seems to be the only tiebreaker. The game also has an option for the family variant and the intermediate variant for introductory players, people new to the game, and games in general. The game also has an achievement system where you can try to complete achievements based on scenarios, normal games, rules, restrictions. It also has some nice little information on the terrain and the animals. This is a game inspired by the Pacific Northwest, or Cascadia. I actually used to live right about there, where Kent, Washington is. It's been long enough, nobody remembers me from there. But that's why I love the game, because of where it's set, and also just the kind of simplicity of the system, and yet this depth of having to balance what you're trying to do. Like being able to make lines of elk whilst having foxes surrounded with unique animal types, and keeping hawks separated and bears together, and salmon in a contiguous run. There are other cards as well to just kind of shake things up. Like there's 4 of each of these. And then the scenarios, you can challenge yourself even further with certain combinations being a real pain in the butt. And having hit a certain amount of points as well. But yeah, it's not an expensive game. It's where I got it, it was pretty cheap. So if you like this nature, the gameplay being as simple as it is, this is a good game. Heck, this is a great game. But yeah, Cascadia, check it out. Big recommendation. Thank you very much for watching. This is Pillar Nexus, and I'll see you next time.